Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Hello and welcome today. Today you're here on my Inktober 2020 drawings that I'm sharing with you in my whole challenge that I did for 2020 Inktober. I can't believe I'm actually here in 2020 doing this challenge. I think I've done it for at least 4 years. At least. 2016, I guess. I did, yeah, I would say about 4 years I've done this challenge. So in this 2020 version, we start off with day one, fish. And this is interesting. I was some interesting drawings at this stage when I after I post this, I see some interesting drawings of fish in different ways, which was pretty cool to see. I think someone else was doing um, octopuses as well, which is pretty cool. And when I was talking about it, I was talking about it in one of these streams. I think it was a Tuesday stream that I was talking about it, talking about actually taking this challenge on as octopustober. So doing these octopus drawings for the whole of October using the Inktober prompts. But in a way, it was octopustober, which was interesting. Drawing all octopuses for this whole month. That's just been, and it's interesting. The first two drawings I've done, the first one, forget it, and wisp. Um, yeah, these two words. Were interesting. Um, and they're pretty, they do look pretty close together in a way. The way they look, they both look pretty similar kind of design for the octopus. Um, and yeah, they look very, very close together. Um, First word there was fish, yeah, fish and wisp. Those two did look very similar in the way they were drawn and everything like that. I think with those 2 days, I was just getting used to just drawing octopuses a little bit more and just yeah, just drawing them, trying to make things look like octopus, I guess, trying to make it look like an octopus. Um, and then after doing those 2 days, I saw that, it was very similar together. The first 2 days were very similar. And I was like, totally like, no, I've got to really, break down and make it more interesting. So, started this with bulky. I made, a big bulky octopus looking thing. It's very, very muscly, big and bulky muscly. And that was, the next step to it. Drawing octopuses and then, learning how to draw them and manipulate them in the way you want. And then adding some character and some personality and just some interesting characters that I create throughout this whole octopustober, Inktober, whatever you want to call it. That's the way I went about it, and then now, I'm starting to get into a little bit more fun and changing things up and trying to trial things out. So I think that was really helpful in this whole Inktober thing. So if you don't know by now, my name's Daniel. Didn't really get much of a chance to introduce myself. And, this is my channel. Yeah, and this is my video, you know. So, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to keep watching, like, subscribe and all that stuff. And, just skip ahead and go through all my Inktober drawings if you're just in it for this. Or check out my Instagram as well. There's a link on my YouTube page if you just want to check that out. Anyway, with radio, I was thinking, how to represent this radio. So I was thinking like an old style radio. ragamuffin kind of a thing where he's, you know, um, you know, sitting out a girl's window playing the blasty music, that kind of thing going on. So I wanted to kind of show that in this octopus a little bit more. Not so ragamuffin-ish. If it was more ragamuffin-y, I was gonna add some some more kind of dreadlocks and things like that and add all that, but I didn't go too far for some of them. Here, Blade, I felt this one was the first kind of time I captured a kind of character. It was the first time I think first time I didn't, no, it's about the third time I added a mouth. Because, octopuses don't have mouths. Well, they do, but it's like under their, kind of under their, all their bits and pieces. Yeah, it's quite under, so you can't really see it. Um, for a little while. It's like under they do a mouse, but yeah, it is quite under their bits and bobs, I guess, their tentacles and things. So you don't see it, and I wanted to add it in this one. This was a last minute add. I was just like, yep, I liked it and added the mouth. The other ones I did trial and error the mouth, and could have tried something different. I think some of them did look better without a mouth. Um, some like here, rodent, he hasn't got a mouth. Some I have chosen to add a mouth, and some I haven't. It depends on what's happening in the scene, um, and what's going to go on. This one's rodent, and it was really interesting. So I wanted him to kind of be trying to catch the mouse running away with some cheese or something. So I tried to capture that. I think I could have added him in one of his hands or something that he had a broom or something to add to it possibly, but I mean it was pretty, for these only take me up to about 30 minutes, 40 minutes ish. I don't want to spend more than that on them. Um, Due to, yeah, I have to get them done on my lunch break. Um, and, even on weekends, I've got other things to do. And yeah, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on them. It is another bonus thing. So adding all these little things isn't exactly on the agenda. I do try and add as much as I can, little bits and bobs. Like here, I had a few things going on. I had um his like eye monocule, his stick that he's holding, his walking cane kind of a thing, his tie and some other things to make him look fancy. I had quite a few things I was adding here. And there could have been a little bit more to make him more fancier, but um, you know, I've only got so much time. Um, with these, they aren't kind of a thing that I'm working for the whole day doing, or trying to make it the best drawing in the world every day. That it is for me an exercise. This Inktober, it's not about getting a great image out of every day. Um, I mean, it's good to have a really nice image out of a day, a really good image I like enjoy in scene. It's actually a good image. I enjoy creating the imageries and seeing what I create out of them. But mostly it's about, playing around and trying to um, get better at drawing something for October really, or octopustober. It was really about getting better at drawing this kind of octopus, and then pushing that octopus's character. So dealing with one animal, an octopus, really kind of challenging animal, but yeah, that was the animal of choice. And then, putting him in different situations, different characteristics and stories and things like that. Um, so it doesn't always look like the same octopus over and over again. Um, those kind of things I learnt from the experience of doing this year's Inktober. Putting one animal, taking one animal, and really pushing the boundaries of that animal, really, which is really good. I've done quite a few things. I mean, with this year's Inktober octopus stuff. Here you can see a whole scene is going on, something quite different. Throw. It's got two octopuses, I think, don't think previous, but this first time I introduced like another octopus rather than just one. Um, I don't think there's two in any others, so, it's the first time as far as I know. Don't hold me on that, I think it is. I mean, 9 joins, I can't remember them all, but, um, uh, and 31 of them. I can't remember them all, but they're there. But yeah, and previous years I've done so many things. I did, I think last year was imagination, so it's just drawing for imagination. Um, the year before that was humans, and then the year before that was dragons. Um, and obviously learn something from each experience. The imagination just drew things without reference, which is really good. Humans obviously get better at drawing humans. um, Dragons get better at drawing dragons or fantasy kind of creature. um, and this kind of put them all together in a way, not the humans per se, but there are some human kind of characteristics to them. But yeah, drawing from imagination, because I did have reference with me this time. I did have octopus reference with me, if I needed it. But most of the time, there are things in the scenes, um, and that I have to kind of imagine and try to create myself. So I've had to use, that whole drawing from imagination thing. However, like this one, with hope, I had to look up myself. Some, what would that be? How would hope look as an octopus? He's kind of praying there. How would he be looking like he's praying? It was challenging, and I feel like this one might have been lacking a little bit. Um, but I've given it a good shot, and there's no next time for this, but I could, if I wanted to, take any of these kind of drawings and take them further if I wanted to one day. And I have in the past. I have taken an Inktober drawing and painted them. Um, in some years I have. And other years, yeah, I just, you know, I get some good, interesting drawings out of them and new ideas. But for me, they are just drawings and just inks. Um, and they're just a lot of fun and a bit of fun to do. And uh, before this, for the whole year, I've been doing my own challenge. So I've been doing 4 drawings a week. Kind of inkish drawings a week using my own words. So that's different. So I'm doing it every day. I've been doing a drawing every day for 31 days. And I've done, a drawing every day for 100 days before. I have for, I think, 2 or 3 years done a drawing for every day. Um, so it's not exactly out of my routine, but I went through kind of a time where doing a drawing every day just seemed like it was stopping some things. Like in the morning, it was like breaking my routine or something. So, eventually I did stop it and give it a break, and then eventually later on I did Inktober again, and then from after Inktober I've done that challenge for a year. Um, and I'm thinking about continuing it, because it's so easy to do. I can do 4 drawings a week. It's so easy to do, so I'm continuing it. Um, but anyway, you know, this is slippery, and with this one, it was interesting just trying to make him look like he was like slipping on ice. I still feel like there's something there that I can make him look a little bit more like he's slipping. Um, he looks like he's just kind of finished a trick or something. Um, just yeah, maybe I needed more reference with that, or just some way of doing it. As I said, this is only 45-minute drawing, so um, around about 45 at max usually. Um, so there's only so much I can do there. I, I can only draw it 2 or 3 times, usually 3 times at max. I draw it and then, ink it. So it's, yeah. Um, so there's only so much play I can do there. I can still have a bit of fun and try some ideas, and um, then then I have to start on fine tuning things. So usually I do one kind of initial sketch, and this has been the whole 31 days. I do an initial sketch. Um, then I usually do a refined sketch. But if that initial sketch is strong enough that I can just take it and draw it into my book refined, I do that easy. Yeah, yeah. If I just draw it in my book refined, that's what I do. Draw it in refined and then ink it on top. I don't worry about that step of refining it on another piece of paper and then drawing the final one in my book. And that can be a hit and miss as well, because when I go into that refined stage, then I try and fix it up even more. I just break the whole drawing, and sometimes it can look really bad. So I have to kind of think about this process every day. But every day is different. Every word's different. Every drawing that I'm doing is different. I think with this one, I think I did one reference drawing. Well, without reference per se, but one initial drawing, and then I went on and drew it in my book, like so, basically. Um, so I didn't do that next step with this one. I was pretty happy with it though, with the initial sketch. There are a few kind of, with the initial sketch, there might be a few little tweaks and things. But if it's at that stage where it only needs a little bit of tweaks, little changes, little fix-ups, that I can do on the paper. If it's major, like I'm not hitting the right marks, then yeah, I really gotta try that sketch again. Here Outpost, I was thinking, like soccer, go into the outpost kind of a thing. That was a challenging one to convey, obviously. Well, there's a couple ideas here and there that I did have, but this one kind of felt more promising to be able to show. Um, and yeah, I can see I could have added a little bit more to add some depth to the drawing, maybe, possibly. There's these things that I see, do lack a little bit. Maybe next year I might think about environments or something for this, which would be interesting and challenging to do. Um, but yeah, I never know what I'm going to do. I could look at maybe even kind of with next month's drawings and things like that, do more environments and things. Here Rocket, he's rocketing into space. This was quite cool. Um, because I went back to looking at reference again. And I wanted to make the octopus look a bit more like the octopus. Um, then characterize octopus. So I did kind of go back to reference a little bit more here and use it a bit more. But yeah, I felt like this one was pretty good. Felt at this stage at day 16, I was getting kind of good at the challenge, I guess. It was kind of at the point where I've kind of been through quite a bit with days, with all those days previous, those 15 days. They were starting to really kind of get the hang of it. I think this was done like on Friday where I didn't have a lot of time, but I did it. you know. And then Storm, here I went back to a more characterized again. But going back and using a bit of reference again, and knowing that it's there, I can look at octopuses and be like, you know, what am I hitting here? Make sure it looks like an octopus. I still had that in my memory banks, and I can still use that. So, um, in my physical, you know, printouts and things that I have of octopuses. So I can, use it when I need to. Um, but yeah, Storm, I felt this was an interesting one to kind of convey lightning and water. I was like, how do I, convey that? Um, but then I just kind of, excuse me, then I just go out and initially kind of sketch it, and I just start thinking of ideas and ways to do it. Sometimes I do quick kind of big thumbnails, I guess. I don't really do thumbnails, thumbnails the size of a thumb. um, um, Usually, sometimes I do if I'm doing like a kind of a bigger view or I really want to jot down a lot of ideas at once, a lot of different ideas. But for these, I just do like little boxes. Because I usually only have like 2 or 3 ideas for each drawing, and then eventually it breaks down into something I really want to do for the word. I think this trap one was good for environment a little bit more, um, because I didn't always add much environment. Maybe a little bit of like environment with some of the previous words. For instance, the rocket one had space kind of thing. Um, so, but with this, that's he's hanging from the tree in a trap, so it's kind of interacting with the octopus. So it's a little bit more than just that. So I did add a little bit more. Now Dizzy is the one here. I kind of still think I failed in a way. Um, this one, this pose that he's doing here could have really worked for Slippery if he was doing this with ice skates on. It could have really worked. Um, but trying to make him dizzy was not easy. I didn't have reference at the time with me, I don't think, for the word dizzy. Like what does it look like? So it was a little bit challenging to convey, but I used kind of a comic book, I would guess, or cartoony kind of dizziness to the octopus. I still don't think I've hit it the way I wanted it to, but it's close, you know. It's in like a general direction. For me, you know, a drawing like this would be kind of the initial sketch before I then keep drawing over it and keep drawing on it or tackle it in a different way, and then you know, start to make it into a concept and then a painting, you know. Um, this one here, you know, I went back again to the octopus looking thing and um, it worked really well, you know. It was quite simple idea. It's just an octopus kind of sitting in some coral. Um, Coral isn't exactly word for word what it's supposed to look like, but you know, they are very interesting looking things. Coral, um, they have all shapes and sizes and things. So it's quite interesting to see them and um to see, you know, there are octopuses out there that disguise themselves as those colors, like the coral colors, and hide in the low coral areas, which is quite cool to see. You know, if you've ever seen it, I've seen it in some kind of documentaries and things like that. Um, it'd be really cool to see up close, but yeah. Sleep. This is an interesting one. He really looks like a proper octopus here. Just kind of asleep. Uh, now looking at it, that kind of mark under his eye looks like a mouth, like it's supposed to be a mouth. But it's not supposed to be a mouth. Yeah, and then sometimes that happens. You know, you draw a mark or something, and it's not what you wanted it to be, but it ends up being something else, and you're like, oh, really? Uh, but yeah, you know, this was challenging trying to show that the octopus was asleep, and you know, how would an octopus sleep? I mean, you can't really sleep upside down, can you? You know, humans sleep. They usually sleep on their backs or you know, lying down or something. Um, I think you know, cats kind of curl up, you know, and put their heads under their paws, and dogs kind of curl up as well. They, you know, they have poses to actually go to sleep with. Where I don't know if octopuses have that. They don't have a kind of known sleeping thing. They just probably look a bit lazy, and so that was a little bit challenging to portray, but I eventually did it, I guess, in a way. This one, Chef, I had a little bit of fun with it. I thought, well, you know, if a you know, that whole saying about, you know, I don't have 8 arms, so I can't do, you know, I can't salt the pepper while I'm cutting the pork or whatever. Where, you know, with this chef, there was a real chef with like 8 arms, you know, how useful he would be. So I really wanted to show that, you know, him, a chef octopus, doing multiple things as a chef with his multiple arms. So he's shaking the salt on the meat that he's just cut. And he's moved it from, you know, we'll go back reverse. He's cut the meat, he's moved it to the next arm, and then he's salting it. He's seasoning it to put it in the oven. I did in the initial put a little bit more, but I ran out of time to add all those details. So you know, I tried the best I can to get it done. Um, and you know, next word rip. You know, I took it as RIP. And I think there's been words in previous years, and um, you know, this year that I've taken like this. I've been like, taken a different kind of take to it, I guess. RIP. It can be RIP, short for rest in peace, kind of a thing. So, you can. I take the words kind of with a grain of salt. I take the words and I use them how I want to use them. They don't have to be, um, say, rip. It doesn't have to be a rip in the pants or um, a rip of a piece of paper. It could be RIP, rest in peace. So that's the way I did it, and I created this interesting character with it. I was going for the whole funeral scene, but I was like, no, that's a bit much. Um, Try something a bit more simple, and it worked out quite good. I really actually enjoyed that one, and I liked the look of it in the end. Dig was interesting as well. Um, Again, I could have done many things with it. I could have done, there was this Dig Dug game back in the day that I used to play. So I could have actually, gotten the reference from that, the Dig Dug game, and made it into a Dig Dug and dugged an octopus or something. um, but, I think that was a bit much for me to kind of research into and then try and draw the idea out. So I decided just to go with this one. A simple, more simple idea, um, but it did the. Excuse me, back again. Um, yeah, so it did the job. The digging dug, the octopus. That word, yeah, it did do the job. And then sometimes unfortunate it gets to that point where I'm drawing just to kind of get the job done, get the word done and out of the way. um but for some days it is challenging to do. It is um kind of, I don't have all the time in the world to get it done, but I still attempt it and get it done the best I can with the best ideas that I've got at that time. I can be like, well, you just posted or something, and it's like, oh, I could have done this or could have done that. Um, but what I said before, it's more of a group challenge. It's more about the whole experience as a whole, really. Um, getting better every day, not about posting the best drawing in the world every day. Just trying to um, yes, get good drawings out of it, and there's some good drawings in here that I really did like. Um, the rocket one I thought was pretty cool. Uh, you know, and there's ones I think are lacking, like this buddy one a little bit, possibly. I don't know. I think it's alright. Um, that hope one, I think that's really one of my least favorite out of all of them. This one hide actually, I feel it was pretty good, but it could have kind of used more. It doesn't look like he's falling into space as well as I would have hoped to. So maybe um trying to make him look like he's actually all his he's going back in space kind of a thing. Trying to make that work a little bit more would have been helpful to do. So some of those little challenges and hiccups that happen. Um, but it's not too bad this one. That he's hiding in amongst the toys. That whole scene, like in I think it's in E.T., where you know they go and try to find E.T. for some reason, and they like think he's a toy, one of the toys. I'm pretty sure it's E.T., but I think a lot of movies have used it um, for hiding, that they get hidden in toys. I think maybe Gremlins might have used it. I can't 100% remember it, but There is. I feel like there's a lot of movies that do use that kind of thing, with it hiding and covered amongst toys, or hiding amongst, um, a kind of mall with the mannequins dressed up as mannequins. It's used a lot in, pop culture and in movies and things like that. So, I thought that was an interesting scene to do. This one, music, he's just kind of enjoying listening to the music. Again, going back to what a proper octopus looks like. I felt that kind of fitted the tune a little bit more, I guess. Um, but it is what it is, and some I've interestingly enough characterized for many reasons. Some I have made them look more like octopuses. It depends, like I said, on the scene. Um, and some I prefer like this. But it's just, being able to use it and kind of take away what you can and add what you can, to add to the scene, to add to the character, to add to the story. Um, this float one is one of the ones where I was like, I tried him looking like an actual kind of octopus style, but I was like, oh, more realistic, put it that way, and I was like, no, it doesn't suit it. Like, it looks kind of too off. I was going for the whole, float from the movie It um as a clown, Pennywise. I was going for that whole scene. So thinking about now, Pennywise um has very interesting features. He's not exactly human per se. He has some different features like a big head and kind of weirder mouth and those kind of things. So thinking about it now, I kind of added that in a way with this. That's the way I wanted to portray it, a little bit like an octopus, but he's a little bit off, but he's still kind of an octopus. And that was interesting. It was lots of fun to do. I liked that one. I think, that float was my favorite out of all the 31 days. There are some good ones like space, but that's the one I really enjoyed doing. Um, yeah. Anyway, shoes, I really like this one as well. They all, all of them I kind of liked, but yeah, float was the highest on the scale from 1 to 31. Um, you know, the shoes, this one was interesting because he's like having a paddy, they can't find the shoes he wants to wear. I was thinking of him drawing him with like all the shoes on, but I was like, no, I don't. I've done that somewhere before where, I've had characters just wearing heaps of shoes on each feet, and I was kind of like, nah, well, I've kind of done that in a way where it's kind of boring, where it's just wearing shoes. So I thought it'd be an interesting see where he's kind of throwing a paddy, throwing his shoes around, because he can't find the right pair, or he can't find a pair that matches, or maybe he can't find all 8 shoes that go together. Maybe, I don't know how he does it. Maybe he has to buy 4 pairs of shoes or something. I don't know, but maybe he doesn't find the shoes he likes anyway. Um, yeah, and this one was ominous. This was a hard word. This is like one of the words. It's like, what? I was like, I had to look it up and then look up the meaning, and then I had to, lucky, I could look it up on my phone, and I managed to be able to get some imagery for it, of what ominous is or what it looks like, because even, ominous feeling, kind of something bad's gonna happen, it's kind of hard to be like, how do I portray that? I was thinking something scarier. I had a drawing of the "Hey, it's Johnny" kind of a thing from I think I can't remember it, but it's one of the scary movies anyway. I can't remember what it is, but where he's through the door and you see half his face in a knife. I think it's something like Psycho. I'm not 100% sure. But I had something interesting to do with that. I was like, I tried a few things with it to make him ominous. Um, so it did take me a bit more trialing to get that idea and get that drawn. Um, but hooray, we've made it to day 31. I actually made it through the whole challenge. Which at the moment, it hasn't been really. Um, it has, been kind of challenging, I guess, to try and get them all done. But I still, yeah, I managed to get them all done. I get them all done, posted, everything like that. You know, but in actually doing them, not challenging, getting the time to do them, I guess is more challenging than others doing it every day and everything like that. So yeah, I've done it. This was cool, interesting. Word. I wanted to go out with a bang, but with the word, I was struggling, so I couldn't really do kind of a big drawing of this one with the ideas I had. It was a struggling idea, that one crawl, uh, so, so only so far I could push it. Maybe I could have looked up more things and found an answer for it, but, that would have took more time. I'd still be here trying to fuss out and trying to get this video kind of put together. So, I've got to make decisions. This is only a 45-minute drawing usually for each one. Um, they aren't, my little babies that I spend, 6 hours a day on or something like that. It's just a little challenge for me to keep drawing, keep learning, keep creating, and that's the way I feel like Inktober should be, a little fun activity for you to do. All these challenges like Mermaid and even Art Station challenges and those things that you find. I feel like they all should just be kind of learning things. And I mean, it's really good to get some great drawings out of them and you get some um, good, really good pieces and things like that out of them. Um, but initial whole thing about them is they should be fun and challenging and keep you going, keep you creating stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining in. If you joined in, I really do appreciate it. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, as some of you do. And comment below if you did do Inktober or if you enjoyed watching others do Inktober. Let me know about your experience down below. Thanks for tuning in. Keep drawing, everyone. Keep creating, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.